Damn, bro. If only you had like a backdrop.
Brandon said the same thing.
Damn.
I'm gonna get one. It ain't hard, and it
Just
ain't
get a
that much
green
money.
screen. Just get a green screen. You make the backdrop whatever you want.
Yep.
Motherfucking.
What's going on, y'all? We gonna stream a couple reaction videos. I hope everyone has a great day, has a great Friday, and enjoys the stream. Bro, I wish I could go full screen. Look at that setup. Tell me you wouldn't want that. God damn.
But I needed the viewing screen. You gotta flip this around. So I can just watch something.
You need a viewing screen. That's why I asked, can you do this?
Yeah, so far.
Hold on.
Unless you can make that whole thing full screen.
Actually, I can. Let me do this.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Setups like that, I guess they're cool, yeah, but they're not purposeful. And then you have that bordering in between. But you know what? They do make a 68 SL. We should look that up. The 68-inch
That better for you?
gaming monitor.
Yeah.
It's a TV, but it's not a TV. It's a full gaming monitor. That's way better.
68 inch?
Yeah, it's
You
gaming.
know the maker?
I don't know. Gaming monitor, yeah. Big as a bitch. It's a monitor.
Who'd you see review it?
Nah, I saw this on Best Buy website. I was looking at monitors.
It was on Best Buy website?
Yeah. Hmm.
You're gonna have to show me that one. 'Cause I can't find it.
Nah, they had that bitch.
This is arguably the coolest monitor on the planet in the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9. It has a massive 49-inch ultra-wide display, but it's one seamless screen with an insane 1000R curve. We're talking roughly 7 inches deep from the outer edges to the center, which Samsung says closely matches the curvature of your eyes, where when you're sitting in front of it, the monitor basically wraps around your visual field, fully immersing you in whatever it is that you're looking at. In the games that fully support this ultra-wide aspect ratio, it is truly amazing. It's definitely got that gamer look to it on the back, where you have what Samsung is calling infinity core lighting, with the circle on the back lighting up. Now, as you'd expect with cutting-edge tech like this monitor isn't cheap. But if you're somebody who's looking for the ultimate of the ultimate gaming monitors, well, this is it. This is arguably the coolest monitor on the planet in the Samsung Odyssey Neo. It has a massive 49-inch ultra-wide display, but it's one seamless screen with an insane 1000R curve. We're talking roughly 7 inches deep from the outer edges to the center, which Samsung says closely matches the curvature of your eyes, where when you're sitting in
Power cord for my $40 PS4 from Goodwill is here. We can finally see if this thing works.
$40.
Please. I use the button. There are noises. No shot. This poor kid, man.
Is that the stream I'm looking at?
They did not erase this thing.
It's
20
late.
likes and I'll play Fortnite on it.
It's delayed,
My
yeah.
$40 PS4 from
So
Goodwill is
delayed.
here. We can finally see
What
if
I
this
don't
thing
know,
works.
well, I do know.
Please. I use the button. There are noises. No shot. This poor kid, man. Oh, look at all
That's
the
just a
games he played.
duplicate.
They did not erase this thing. 20 likes and I'll play Fortnite on
Trying to
it.
figure
My
out.
$40 PS4 from Goodwill is here. We can finally see if this thing works.
Actually,
Please. I use the button. There are noises.
I got it.
No shot. This poor kid, man. Oh, look at all the games he played. They did not erase this thing. 20 likes and I'll play Fortnite on it. Power cord for my $40 PS4 from Goodwill is here. We can finally see if this thing works. Please. I use the button. There are noises. No shot. This poor kid, man. Oh, look at all the games he played. They did not erase this thing. 20 likes and I'll play Fortnite on it.
How about that?
Cord for my $40 PS4 from Goodwill is here. We can finally see if this thing works.
There we go.
But what happens if you use anti-seize instead of thermal
Perfect.
paste in your PC? This stuff is typically used on screws and bolts to prevent corrosion. But check it out, it looks more like thermal paste than thermal paste does. And so with the
And I
anti-seize
streams
installed, we can
like
measure the temperature of the
infinity
CPU with the
screens.
top line graph. And under load, we see that temperature barely budge at all. It quickly flatlines around 52 degrees Celsius, which is a minuscule 3 degrees hotter than if you just use thermal paste. Plus, in concept, I suppose it'll keep your CPU from corroding as well, right? But what happens if you use anti-seize instead of thermal paste in your PC? This stuff is typically used on screws and bolts to prevent corrosion. But check it out, it looks more like thermal paste than thermal paste does. And so with the anti-seize installed, we can measure the temperature of the CPU with this top line graph. And under
You
load,
watching
we
it?
see that temperature barely budge at all. It quickly flatlines
Yeah,
around
I'm seeing
52
that.
degrees
It's
Celsius,
like
which is a
late by like.
minuscule 3 degrees hotter than
The
if
stream's
you just
late
use
by
thermal
like
paste.
7
Plus, in
seconds.
concept, I suppose it'll keep your CPU from corroding as well, right? But what happens if you use
How's that look?
anti-seize instead of thermal paste in your PC? This stuff is typically used
Yeah,
on
that's
screws and
better.
bolts to prevent corrosion. But check it out, it looks more like thermal paste than thermal paste does. And so with the anti-seize installed, we can measure
Alright, let's keep going.
Perfection.
Nice chopping.
I like that.
Garlic good. Nice wok. Nice onion. Uncle Roger prefers shallot.
Now the key is to use old cooked white rice.
Correct. Old rice for fried rice, correct?
Really?
I let the rice sit like a day or
Nice
two.
little technique. Wait, no, wait, what? What he put in there? What is this? Ketchup on your
Oh shit.
Why you put ketchup on steak?
wow.
Don't ruin expensive shit with ketchup. That like putting chili jam on lobster. Hiya.
Get yourself one of these too. This is perfect for fried rice. Also a good wok.
Correct, ladle good to punch the rice. Loosen it up and wok good also. If you white and you don't have wok at home, get cast iron skillet. That white people wok. That actually look nice. Uncle Roger just not sure about ketchup. Steak look good. Nice chopping. Garlic good. Nice wok. Nice onion. Uncle Roger prefers shallot.
Now the key is to use old cooked white rice.
Correct. Old rice for fried rice, correct? Nice little
I'm about to fix everything wrong with the Xbox Series X. If you look
Oh,
at the
God.
common Xbox Series X,
There's
you're gonna
nothing
see
wrong with the
nice
Series
airflow,
X.
which is awesome for airflow, but really bad because over time it's gonna get super dusty in there. So
It does
in
get
order to
dust.
upgrade, I'm gonna go ahead and add one of these dust covers, just like you have on a standard gaming PC. That's gonna help there. And then if we flip it to the back,
I ain't
you'll
gonna lie,
notice
that
that I'm
cleaned
also
mine
gonna
like
cover up
3 times
ventilation
already.
areas as well as any unused ports. So the Xbox Series X has about 800 gigabytes of usable storage for games, and frankly, with the size of games these days, that's just not enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Subscribe.
upgrade to this 1 terabyte Seagate storage expansion.
That's what I got.
Finally, the Xbox
Yes,
controller
sir.
has great ergonomics, but other than that, not much. So I'm gonna upgrade to the Xbox Elite 2 controller. The reason I like this one, it has 3 different trigger stops. It's got 4 removable back paddles, adjustable stick tension, and it has rubber grips. I'm about to fix everything wrong.
They did
Alright, so
all
a lot of
this
you were
simple
asking
shit
how I get my
made it.
potatoes off the end of my knives, and there's really only one correct answer. So many people think, oh, just whack it with the shoe, and it seems like that would work, but it doesn't. See? The knife has a hard time accelerating the potato and ends up just slicing more and more through it. I went a little crazy last video, so here's a more steady view, and you can see with each whack, it just digs deeper and deeper into the potato. So if whacking it doesn't work, then what do? Well, I usually accelerate them both downward, then abruptly stop the knife, and the inertia of the potato keeps it going. Alright, so a lot of you were asking how I get my potatoes off the end of my...
Okay, so I'm gonna see how many pumps it takes to pop a pumpkin. It's actually hard to pump. I think the air is actually going in.
This may seem like an impossible task, but trust me, we made it work.
Yeah, I'm starting to have my doubts about this little pump. Not gonna cut it. It's time for an upgrade.
Like I said, we made it happen.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go. Oh, did it pop already? We thought this might happen, so we got a second pump. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna try another big pumpkin last, but we got a weird shaped ones, so let's see what happens to these first.
It's time for the fun part.
Hello, fall. More like goodbye, fall.
Oh my god!
Now we're talking. It just popped the top off. Okay,
Let's go with you.
time for the big boy. Oh, I'm scared. Oh.
I'm on stream.
Oh my. Last year I lost $10,000
I'm trying to get up Fortnite.
to the same guy. I got an online
I got you, we can get on.
computers and had them shipped out. The post office sent us a notification
Nah, I'm
saying
off.
that the customer wasn't home to receive the PC. So they left them a notice for pickup.
Alright,
We
thanks.
ended up picking it up the same day, and a month later we got a chargeback for both computers.
Say
We tried
that.
contacting the customer by phone, email, and he just wasn't responding.
Say
The
that.
address we shipped it to wasn't too far from us, so we decided
Alright.
just to pop by and see if the customer was home and ask him what happened.
Fire
We get to his
PC.
place, we knock on the door, and
Looks nice as shit.
he was actually really nice. He let us in and explained everything. He said that his credit card had gotten stolen and that he actually didn't know what the charge was. Crazy thing is, outside of his house was parked 2 cars. One was a Lamborghini, the other was a Ferrari, and they were both the same color. I did believe him, and I told him that we'd still have to file a police report. He was a super nice guy and cooperated with everything. Unfortunately, we never found the guy who did it, and we did lose the money. On the bright side, we did learn a lesson that day: just get insurance for credit cards. Last year I lost $10,000 selling 2 PCs to the same guy. I got an online order for 2 computers and had them shipped out. The post office sent us a notification saying that the customer wasn't home to receive the PC. So they left them a notice for pickup. The customer ended up picking it up the same day, and a month later we got a chargeback for both computers. We tried contacting the customer by phone, email, and he just wasn't responding. The address we shipped it to wasn't too far from us, so we decided just to pop by and see if the customer was home and ask him what happened. We get to his place, we knock on the door, and he answers. He was actually really nice. He let us in and explained everything. He said that his credit card had gotten stolen and that he actually didn't know what the charge was. Crazy thing is, outside of his house was parked 2 cars. One was a Lamborghini, the other was a Ferrari, and they were both the same color. I did believe him, and I told him that we'd still have to file a police report. He was a super nice guy and cooperated with everything. Unfortunately, we never found the guy who did it, and we did lose the money. On the bright side, we did learn a lesson that day: just get insurance for credit cards.
Cameras, baby.
Last year I lost $10,000 selling 2
dog.
PCs to the same guy. I got an online order for 2 computers and had them.
The thing is, you can't beat them.
It would be about $10.
That sounds a lot better.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
To get it
picking
all
everything
charged
up.
up, yeah.
So how long will you set
You can't beat scammers.
You really can't.
It was about a 20-minute charge. So
Can't, man. They're unstoppable force, and there's more and more of them.
because I had to go a big gap across.
They're gonna die more IRS.
Normally,
Like the wall.
You gotta make sure, yo, your wallet can't even have the RFID anymore.
Bro, if they can get your phone, bro, they can,
They just tap into you.
boom. They got a little device they walk by and get all your information.
Boom.
Got it. That's some advanced cameras. That's not them hood cameras, though.
it's between 10 and 20 minutes.
On this charge right here, how far will you be able to go?
So right now, I have 166 miles of range. It's going to charge it up to probably around 200.
So let me ask you this: do you start panicking when you kind of start looking for a place to charge?
No, because if
Tells you exactly.
yeah,
where
so
it's
you can see here it says like supercharger in Rolla and then a supercharger in Collinsville. So it shows me I have to charge here for 25 minutes, here for 15, here for 25.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I still will never get a Tesla.
Yeah.
Like I said, my boys want one of these so bad it's
Yeah,
unreal.
I know. They just keep getting better.
How much does it cost to charge that?
It would be about $10.
10.
You know what?
That's
I'm
not
gonna
bad
be a
though.
bitch
10
to
bucks.
this song, just to see if you can play it.
And anytime they can lock you out your car, let you miss payment, and let that motherfucker drive his back right back to the dealership. You know what I'm saying? Too much. That's what's going. All that EV, they got more control over. Oh, he's fired.
That's pretty cool.
That was fire.
Let's assemble the ultimate GameCube. Ah, this is the broadband adapter.
Did you have a GameCube?
I did.
What color?
Gray.
What accessories did you have?
Silver. Nothing.
Just
I had
the regular one?
base game. No, I lied. I did get the good screen though.
Oh, you got that mobile screen?
The mobile screen. That was the only accessory I got for it.
I had one blue. I had to share it with my brother. No accessories.
Damn.
We stole every video game.
Oh
we
my
were
God.
kids. I did my time.
Yeah, no, I got that bitch for Christmas, man. And I always wondered. I used to take it apart all the time and wonder what all that. But this was like, man, I don't know how many years. I was in like second grade.
I didn't know.
I had no idea.
Aha! Now we can go online. Game Boy player and a matching one. That
Wow.
requires another port down here on the bottom. That would
Yo,
be-
that's so fire though.
A Game Boy
a wafer
player.
and the dongle
Oh, I had that.
in here.
The wireless remote.
No, I didn't have
Player
that.
disc.
I had that.
Fire. We had all 4 controllers though.
The wireless remote had 4 different channels. So the channel on the remote had to match the channel on the receiver.
Right.
It was awesome.
Hard to find. Snaps in there.
I ain't gonna lie, the
In
little
there, the
disc.
screen.
They were funny.
Awesome. Yeah,
That's what you had.
Yeah.
Ah, Game Boy Advance game. What'd you pick? Mario 3. Good choice. Okay. That is going to slide in right down here on the bottom.
Damn. Play
Game Boy
Game
Advance
Boy
with a
on there?
link cable. Surprise me with this. Now this is the ultimate GameCube. Let's assemble the
Wow.
ultimate GameCube.
Yo.
Apparently, if you add 99 blue raspberry to Mountain Dew, it makes a Baja Blast. You know we gotta find out. So let's pour this shit up.
What's a 99 blue?
I don't drink.
99 blue raspberry.
I have no idea.
And hit it with the OG Mountain Dew. And hopefully we get a Baja Blast.
I think it's vodka.
Let's give this a little mix.
So hard Baja Blast.
What in the world? Man, he just took his whole belt.
Cheers, y'all. Baja Blast.
Killed that shit.
Alcoholic.
Guys, do not buy this keyboard. The W, A, S, and D sound all really good. It's the space bar that's making me get rid of it. Guys, do not buy this keyboard.
Far too many PC gamers forget to do this simple thing that can make their games run and look much better. Just right-click the desktop, open the NVIDIA control panel, and follow these steps. First, go to change resolution, ensure your maximum native resolution is selected, set your frame rate to the max available, and then after checking use NVIDIA color settings, max out your color depth and set your dynamic range to full, and hit apply. And finally, you can get the refresh rate and color depth that you paid for, which most people don't, because far too many PC gamers forget to do this simple thing that can make their games run and look much better. Just right-click the desktop.
Did you know that Teslas have a secret service menu? This kind of shocked me because Tesla are known to have an Apple-like approach to right to repair. Let's go check out what we can do in this secret service menu. On the Tesla computer, you want to head into settings, software, and then you just press and hold right over here. It prompts you to enter an access code. You just write service. And now you have access to all sorts of diagnostic tools. You're able to recalibrate the cameras, do a battery health test. You can also recalibrate the steering and recalibrate the windows. I honestly don't even know what
build
half of
quality
this
is
stuff
shit.
does.
Shit.
For a company that's so against right to repair, could this be the start of self-service repair? Did you know that Tesla...
Why do joysticks drift? Your modern controllers from Microsoft and PlayStation use potentiometer joysticks. The flaw with these joysticks is that the wiper, which rubs against the resistive pad, which measures how much you move the stick, degrades with use, which alters these measurements and leads to stick drift. TLDR, they aren't very durable. The product sheet for these joysticks mention a life of 2 million cycles. Engineers found that they made 100 cycles a minute while playing Modern Warfare. So if you play 3 to 4 hours a day, that's about 3 to 4 months before your joystick develops stick drift. The
My remote lasts me about 3 months.
Almost 30 years
I
ago,
play
the
hard.
Saturn 3D controller used Hall effect sensors in their joystick, which are more durable.
Does your Elite
The
remote
64 controller used
have,
a
drift stick right now?
stick drift,
No.
But that controller had a failure in material durability. More
My
recently,
custom
the
one?
same controller tried trackpads
The orange
with
one?
gyro controls.
No.
So why are
That
potentiometer
shit's
sticks still
on
used
point.
in $70 to $200 controllers? Well, they're dirt cheap, and when you get stick drift, unless you have a modular controller, you have 2 options: this or this. Why do joysticks drift?
Guys, do not buy this keyboard. The W, A, S, and D sound all really good. It's the space.
If you had a PlayStation 2, then I'll bet you never noticed this. Pick up any game and take a closer look at the PlayStation 2 logo. If the label is black, which means original, then chances are the game's user guide was printed in color. But if the label is red, which means greatest hits, then most likely the user manual was printed in black and white. That's because greatest hits were always sold at a discount price, so the user guides were printed in black and white to save money. If you had a PlayStation 2, then I'll bet you never noticed.
Pawn shop hack number 1. Never negotiate for the actual item that you want to buy. And in this case, it was a beryllium copper Ben Hogan wedge, but it had no price. And usually when that happens, the pawn shop will look it up on eBay, and that's what you're going to pay. But in our case, we saw this TaylorMade SLDR for $125, and I brought it up to the front desk and asked them what the best that they could do on it, and here's what happened.
Found something?
Yeah, do you know what the best you can do on this guy is?
Sure. Check for you. I do 100 out the door.
100 out the door. Can you do 80?
Tell you what, let's do 90.
90? And then this didn't have a price on it. You throw that in, we'll do 90.
I wouldn't throw it in for 90. But if you do 100 for the 2, $10 for that one.
I think we'll just do the wedge.
Do the wedge for $10?
Yeah.
Doing cash or card today, guys?
Pawn shop hack number 1. Never negotiate.
Yeah. But that's like
it was a beryllium copper Ben Hogan wedge, but it had no price, and usually
sales. I mean, it's easy, but you gotta know how to work.
Yeah, know how to talk.
That's it.
And I brought it up to the front desk and asked them.
Make your offer last.
And here's
Have them offer
Have you ever
first.
broken a phone on accident? Well, not
That's why I don't
necessarily.
pay full
So I've
price.
broken
God
a phone
damn.
on purpose. Here's a prime example. So this iPhone 6s, I pointed it at the screen many times, and I'll show you another example. So here I'm just pointing it at the screen, and it's kind of causing some damage on the LED display, but there you go. Have you ever broken a phone on accident? Well,
Yesterday I made a video replying to a comment asking me how much FPS my gaming PC gets, and a lot of you guys are flaming me.
Your PC isn't that great. Why did you choose Valorant? It can run on a potato.
Well, today I'm here to show you that it's not just Valorant that works that well. This is my gaming PC, a 3090 with a 5800X CPU. Let's go ahead and open up Call of Duty. As you can see, I'm running ultra and high settings here on 1080p. You can see I'm holding over 170 to 160 frames. Let's do the lowest settings in the game and see how much FPS we get. Obviously, the game still looks pretty decent, but we're getting 270 FPS. Moving, shooting, all of that. Know what game I should try next and follow for more. Yesterday, I made a video replying.
I thought for sure this was fake. But move aside, Logitech. Smell that? It's a new king of gaming keyboards.
Wait, is that right?
The 1% keyboard. You're gonna be hitting so many headshots, all you need is F to pay respects. Some assembly required. We're gonna need a bigger computer. Time to install the drivers. Let's go to Corsair.com. Time to pay respects. I thought for sure this was fake. But move aside, Logitech. Know that?
What is it?
It's a new king of gaming keyboards. Wait, is that right? The 1% keyboard. You're gonna be hitting so many headshots.
Come off like a bitch.
Some assembly required. We're gonna need a bigger computer. Time to install the drivers. Let's go to Corsair.com. Time to pay respects. I thought for sure this was fake. But move aside, Logitech. Know that? It's a new king of gaming keyboards. Wait, is that right? The 1% keyboard. You're gonna be hitting so many headshots, all you need is F to pay respects. Some assembly required. We're gonna need a bigger computer. Time to install.
Unlock your full creative potential. Go to fxhome.com now and download the only video.
I haven't been this excited about a product in say anything. I'll acknowledge that there are is sponsored by Signal RG
built for the latest 2 modules of breeze.
Ketchup, lightly
special moments with in this one
character. Oh, something amazing here at Linus Media Group. Joke. And speaking of which, you're gonna. I thought power cord for my 40.
What happens if you
I'm about to fix everything wrong with the Xbox Series X.
Has Joe Rogan posted anything lately? So like, I feel like it's just controversial. So you got that fucking Mr. Hey, how do you get it to where we can't hear the fucking? I'm not trying to hear myself just out there.
Why do we have this reverb?
That's what I'm saying. Whatever first settings you did, it was only audio. We didn't have the reverb. Now we got just crazy reverb. Shout out to Joe Rogan.
Now it works, but we can't hear ourselves.
But we still hear the thing?
Yeah, we can hear the video.
Alright, yeah, perfect.
What do you think about the live golf?
Yeah, because we can't hear.
Absolutely love it. Why not?
Tell me more.
We can't hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
But we can
And I
hear
told you,
just
I
the audio there.
I know a guy that went over there. And here's the thing.
Trust me, I bet it's gonna pick up on all the
Some
audio.
people love the preservation and the history of the PGA. I get it, tradition. A lot of things about the PGA are bullshit, and particularly the idea that the PGA had a stronghold on them. It was kind of like, it has like the remnants of like contracts from studios in the 50s for actors, where you're like, we own your fucking house, your likeness, your rights, your images. When the golfers golf, they can't use that footage. They have to license it from the PGA. So if I'm out playing and I want to be like, hey man, I want to put up a post on Instagram.
Well, I wonder.
This dope ass putt I hit or whatever, this great. You
Is
have
there
to
an
buy
actual
it. You have to
controversy?
buy your shit back from them. Bullshit. Why? If I'm Zion Williamson in the NBA and I fucking yoke on someone, I put my dick in their fucking face and dunk on them, the NBA can't wait to give you the footage. They're like, dude, post that shit because it's going to help their brand. PGA is old white guy bullshit, and I get it that it's antiquated. So some of the younger guys were like, fuck this, I want more freedom and fun. I want something different. Some of them, their careers are on the other side, so they might not be making so much more to win money. Right, so this is a great alternative. The
PGA is more recognized.
Like Dustin Johnson, or
you know, the PGA is more recognized, so it's going to be making money.
And they're like, "Why are you pulling your game over there? Do you think you think you can't win anymore in this?" Which is part of the controversy. It's like, oh,
But what's the big controversy?
Well,
the big controversy is
Saudi
run
money.
by the Saudis.
Yeah, but Saudi money is invested in tons of shit. Look up Saudi money LPGA. Look that up.
You're not wrong.
the investment of the Saudis isn't like a new thing in American
I
sports.
zoned out.
So people are just mad because
I zoned out completely.
PGA particularly is mad because
This
they
nigga
look
fake, guys.
look for something in the
Fake.
that's threatening them.
David's getting on pretty soon anyway, so we'll be able to play some video games for a little bit. I gotta go to work soon though. I have to actually go stream, guys. I can't waste my day anymore.
Leaving and they're going to work for someone who's been accused of some horrific shit.
Sure. But who made your jeans?
I mean, hold on. The controversy's known. Alright? Anytime you use Saudi money, any money from the Middle East, it's dirty.
Someone died behind it.
Yeah, someone died over it. So, I don't understand what the controversy is.
You look at the phone or recording on this laptop. Niggas died for that shit.
Yeah.
The minerals used to make these? Oh my god. And those people are dying in caves to make this product that people... Bro. Well, you have to understand how lucky we are to live in America. Because niggas are dying in caves to mine the, cobalt and, aluminum and all that, man. Kids, old people working for shit.
Oh, stop talking. It's capturing that audio too. You're good. It's not capturing it.
Oh yeah, probably had to though.
I was just making sure because the levels. It kept bouncing at a weird thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Look, there's this one. There's a guy that says,
when you see shit like Tucker Carlson,
was the CIA involved in JFK's murder? Obviously. Like, do you have to doubt that? I don't think you don't have to doubt that at all.
How did he phrase it?
Never say never.
Someone he knew, because they have.
We can go down the 9/11 rabbit hole.
Kennedy assassination. I mean, doesn't make it
We'll probably get assassinated talking about that. Cause that's deep.
Look, ain't nobody assassinating Joe Rogan.
A lot of Americans started to have some questions about the Kennedy assassination.
Cause he has a huge following. We're nobody.
I have to admit, a pretty extraordinary sequence of events. A lone gunman murders the president of the United States, and then, less than 48 hours later, that lone gunman is himself murdered by another lone gunman. What are the odds of that? It's one thing if you get struck by lightning, rare but possible. But if every member of your family also gets struck by lightning all on different days, you might begin to suspect these are not entirely natural events. But, oh, replied the U.S. government, they are. This bizarre chain of killings was all entirely natural. So less than a year after the JFK assassination, the Johnson White House released something called the Warren Commission Report. And the report concluded that while their motives remained unclear, both Lee Oswald and Jack Ruby had acted alone. No one helped them. There was no conspiracy of any kind. Case closed. Time to move on. And many Americans did move on. At the time, they had no idea how shoddy and corrupt the Warren Commission was. It would be nearly 50 years before the CIA admitted under duress that, in fact, it had withheld information from investigators about its relationship with Lee Harvey Oswald. But even then, at the time, before that was known, the government's explanation didn't seem entirely plausible, and some people started asking obvious questions about it. It was at that point, as Americans started to doubt the official story, that the term conspiracy theory entered our lexicon. As Professor Wayne points out in his book on the subject, the term conspiracy theory did not exist as a phrase in everyday American conversation. In 1964, the year the Warren Commission issued its report, the New York Times published 5 stories in which conspiracy theory appeared. Now today, of course, the term conspiracy theory appears in pretty much every New York Times story about American politics. It's wielded, now as then, as a weapon against anyone who asks questions the government doesn't feel like answering.
Yeah.
But despite 60 years of name-calling, those questions have not disappeared. In fact, they have multiplied with time. And here's one of them.
I mean, what do you think the CIA does, man?
A psychiatrist called Louis Joylin
Yeah.
West visited Jack Ruby in his isolation cell in a Dallas jail.
MK Ultra.
According to West's written assessment, he found that Jack Ruby was, quote, technically insane and in need of immediate psychiatric hospitalization. Those are conclusions that, puzzlingly, no one who had spoken to Jack Ruby previously had reached. Ruby had seemed perfectly sane to the people who knew him. Louis Joylin West pronounced him crazy. But what West did not say was that he was working for the CIA at the time. Louis Joylin West was a contract psychiatrist for the spy agency. He was also an expert on mind control and a prominent player in the now infamous MK Ultra program, in which the CIA gave powerful psychiatric drugs to Americans without their knowledge. So of all the psychiatrists in the world, what in the world was this guy doing in Jack Ruby's prison cell? The media did not seem interested in finding out. In fact, the New York Times, in an extensive 1999 obituary of West, never mentioned the fact that he had worked for the CIA, much less his time in Jack Ruby's cell, which seems relevant. So you can see why non-crazy people would wonder about what really happened, and of course many have wondered. In 1976, long forgotten, the House of Representatives impaneled a special committee to reinvestigate the JFK assassination. Their bipartisan conclusion? Jack Kennedy was almost certainly murdered as the result of a conspiracy. But the question is, a conspiracy by whom? Well, the obvious suspect would be the CIA. Why else would the agency withhold critical evidence from investigators? Is there a benign explanation for that, for maintaining this level of secrecy for this many years? Not that we're aware of. And it is illegal. In 1992, Congress passed the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act. That act mandated full disclosure of all documents by 2017. 54 years after JFK was killed. The last administration promised to comply fully with that law, but under intense
Contemplating
pressure,
that's it.
Director Mike Pompeo withheld in the end thousands of pages of CIA documents. Today, this afternoon, the Biden administration did exactly the same thing. That would be thousands of pages of documents.
Shout out Dope as Yola. Shout out Dope as Yola.
Every single person.
Pack me up, bro.
But we still can't see them. Clearly, it's not to protect any person. They're all
I got
it's to protect an
Yeah, that was gas.
still hidden CIA documents. Person was deeply
Show the stream what we smoking on, man. Shout out Care Leaf, man.
Did the CIA
Care Leaf. I got some shit.
Shout out.
We need a sponsor.
This is what we got on today. School lunch.
Cause we definitely smoke what y'all got. So shout out Care Leaf. If you in New Jersey area, Care Leaf.
School lunch, baby. It's coming at a whopping, what was it, 20%? And they were on sale for $35. So I got 2 eighths for $70.
So,
and I had $20 in loyalty points. So, and those points, they rack up easily. In a month, I could easily buy myself 2 eighths for free. So definitely hit up Pure Leaf. I'm lucky enough to actually live directly across the fucking street. So hey, they lit, and we got time for a set of 30 right now.
Oh, they said set of 30. Hold on, set of 30 what?
Set of 30 push-ups.
Oh shit, hold on, let me get right too. Can't let him do no 30 by himself. Hold on, let me get right see it myself. Shit, we can get right. Yes, sir. Come on. Ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3. Was that a quick 50 piece?
Oh, I stopped counting.
Huh?
I stopped counting, but damn. So my body gave out.
You know what I'm saying? You have to get right.
Watch something else. What else we got?
What's some new UFO videos people been going crazy on?
No. Oh, I've seen this one so much.
Here's his shorts, his clips.
A viewer named Aiden.
I've got proof to.
A viewer named Aiden tried to open his Xbox to clean it. Unfortunately, he broke a ribbon cable connector.
So
There we go.
by him accusing people of it.
This is you?
And then by him being bailed out by Death Row Records, and Death Row Records adding more gasoline to the fire, and him being a part of the most gangsterous label in the world that his opposition didn't want no issues with.
Right.
It only egged it on as opposed to, let's find a resolution. No, let's keep making it more of a problem.
So by him accusing people of it, kind of set things off.
And then by
Snoop Dogg's a different type of nigga, bro.
Death Row Records, and Death Row Records adding
Shout out Snoop Dogg.
You know, in hindsight, we should have
Uncle
sit him
Snoop.
down saying, nah, let's not go after him. Let's just make great music. And,
Yeah.
you know, you on bail right now. He wasn't even out of jail. He was out on bail when he got killed. You know, in hindsight, we should have been sitting him down saying, nah, let's not.
When ice melts, it takes up lower volume than it was when it became ice. And that's why pipes break.
I thought pipes break just because the water expands.
Yeah, I just described that in the opposite direction.
Oh, I didn't know it gets larger.
That's what expansion means. What's
Right.
with your vocabulary here? When ice melts, it takes up lower volume than it was when it became ice. And that's why
When ice melts.
He's so smart. He's saying the volume increases.
lower volume than it was when it became ice. And that's why pipes break.
I thought pipes break just because the water expands.
Yeah, I just described that in the opposite direction.
Oh, I didn't know it gets larger.
That's what expansion means. What's with your vocabulary here? When ice melts, it
He's too smart for me.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a genius, bro. So
They just swarm.
how he
in,
talks is gonna be
it's off.
gibberish.
And so I guess they're eating them. That's
This
what
is
they're
so
doing.
hard to watch. I don't.
It's like these are your people. Look, see, they're going in, they're eating the babies. Is this difficult for you?
I mean, it's not enjoyable.
You're like, Jamie, shut it off.
I just.
You feel very connected to this.
Yeah, I mean.
That'd be a real problem if those things became invasive.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, if they
You know,
came over here.
Well, they have been found here.
Hornets in this one documentary I watched, it wiped out an entire colony. It's set in the position where the moon is currently.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fuck yeah, it's awesome. Take that piece of shit, stupid fucking frisbee you got on your wrist.
You can't get this back because you just did it
it's
on
yours.
record. I
It's
love
yours,
it,
man.
Joe,
What is
thank you
this?
so much.
It's set in the position where the moon.
I don't know what it was
where
about.
A woman doesn't even want a powerful man. She just wants a guy that she could turn into a project.
Right.
Because women always do that with guys anyway.
Sure.
The same type of women that adopt sad dogs. Right. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
like,
a
oh,
fuck-
I'm gonna
I'm a
help
fucked
you.
up bulldog."
I'm gonna help you.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people they'll take on projects with people.
Yeah.
Where a woman
That's
doesn't
true.
even want
That's true as a bitch.
I was on the news here in Texas because the news here in Texas was covering these hornets. You know, the amount of press that they got was just
Well, they have great
incredible.
PR.
It was just all about the fear of these hornets coming over. But you know, it's similar to what the fear around Africanized bees is from.
Yeah,
and
the
how
killer
we,
bees.
Yeah,
Killer.
I mean that was also
Yeah.
media-induced fear. You know,
I don't
as-
fuck with bees,
I was
bro.
on the news
I
in
don't.
Texas because
I
the
hate
news here in
bees.
Texas
Nope.
was
Oh, it's packed?
It's packed.
You know, the
Oh,
amount
I've
of
been
press
stung by one.
they got
Never again.
was just
Well, they have great.
The steampunk watch.
That fucking
the
stupid
robot
thing.
writes it and erases it every minute.
That's so dumb. But that watch is my favorite watch, and I want you to have it.
Joe, thank you.
My pleasure. See
Yeah,
that?
big ass wrist.
Yeah. I do. Well, we can get it sized for you.
No, this is
The steampunk watch. The
Oh, that's awesome.
robot.
And so
Big ass watch.
I'm not gonna lie. I do want to get into the watch industry.
And Johnny is
Definitely.
standing there going, "What's up?" And
I
go,
gotta
"What'd
get
you
more
do,
knowledge
man?
on it.
You fucking let the coyote into the and I realized looking at this pen, there's no way that little coyote could have done it. This
Yeah.
35-pound coyote. It was him. He did it.
and like he had one job.
And then and so I go over like, what the fuck happened? I go over there and I see Johnny. His name is Johnny Cash.
I
And
can't.
Johnny is standing there going, "What's up?" And I go, "What did you do?" When people talk about aliens and alien count, like what would aliens be doing here? Why would they do? What if human beings are the product of accelerated evolution. Like, what if they came down here, they found this incredibly rich planet that's filled with biodiversity and all these different life forms, and then they found these primates. And like, oh, we know where these fuckers are going. Like, this is us 10 billion years ago or whatever the fuck it is. Let's accelerate this little party. Let's inject some of our super advanced DNA into these primates, and let's see where it takes itself. 6,000 BC, an image from a clay tablet of a very large being that has a very small human-like being with a monkey tail on its lap. And this is what Sitchin points to as some sort of a depiction of the genetic engineering that took place to turn primitive primates into human beings. When people talk about aliens and alien encounters,
I can see
you wanna
it.
buy an iPhone, you gotta get something that's essentially made by people that are getting slave wages. They're working 16 hours a day in a building that has nets around it to keep suicide people from jumping off the roof. You want to buy an iPhone, you gotta get something that's essentially.
They know we don't talk about.
Yes, that is another thing that just goes in and out of the news. We were talking about on the podcast the 39 or 35 kids that were rescued in Georgia, and it was a blip in the news. Like how, but meanwhile, I saw 1,000 articles on how mean Ellen is. Ellen's mean. She's so mean.
Because they just distract us from the truth.
They are risking their life to stop human trafficking.
Because they know about frazzle drip.
Human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
The seat went back.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. If you know what frazzle drip is, you already know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I was like, and this guy's like a skinny
Sickening.
You know, like he's not a tough guy, but that's that Hollywood bullshit. I'm cool. He must have been a writer for his show. In fact, the guy from The Office was on that same flight. They would all go home on Fridays, and I kicked the fucking thing.
Joey Diaz.
On me.
The guy's fucking
Turned
hilarious.
the whole plane on me. Meanwhile, I got an ounce of weed in my nutsack, and now the cops want to talk to me when I get off the fucking plane. You know?
Oh no.
The seat went.
One day someone's going to invent a time machine, and that when they invent a time machine, all time ceases to become linear. So you think if you have a time machine, well, I'll just go back to the time where they were making the pyramids and I'll watch them do it. That's not what it works like. What he was saying, you can't travel where there are no roads. So once a road gets built, then you can travel. So once a time machine gets invented, then anyone from the invention of the time machine forward to forever can come back to that moment and can go to any point in time. So all time ceases to be linear. So there's no like tomorrow will be Wednesday and the next.
So how would you go back in time?
It's everything happens everywhere all at once. So people can travel back and forth through time. You can never own anything because someone could just travel through time and take it away from you when you weren't looking. Like as time travel gets more and more sophisticated, you can go back and forth in time while you're talking to people. One day someone's going to invent a time machine, and that when they invent it.
You want to see how good Alistair Overeem is? Pull up Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar. This was back when they were doing a smell test back then for steroids. That's all they did.
Hello.
Yeah, you're good. There's everybody passed. It's so ridiculous. When you look at Brock Lesnar and he's standing right next to, like, look at the two of them. How the fuck did he pass anything? They used to call him Ubereem back then because he wasn't like a real person. He was like a comic book superhero. His physique was perfect and his kickboxing skills were world class, dude. I mean, K1 Grand Prix champion. When they didn't test, or when they tested very lightly, Alistair was running the show. Yeah. I would have loved to see what happened if they just like, was testing. we need guys. We're gonna do our best. You want to see how good Alistair Overeem is? Pull up Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar. This was back when they were doing a smell test back then for steroids.
Oh.
That's all they did. Yeah, you're good. There's everybody passed.
No, they have to give you access. Did you call them?
He's standing right next to, like, look at the two of them. How the fuck did he pass anything? They used to call him Ubereem back then.
Yeah, give them a call and tell them you're still having an issue even after they've done that.
Comic book superhero. His physique
Because they're coming back to you on that.
His kickboxing skills world class, dude. I mean,
yes.
K1 Grand Prix champion. When they didn't test, or when they tested very lightly, Alistair was running the show. Yeah.
I gotcha. Thank you so much, Margaret.
What happened if they just like, was testing?
I appreciate it.
We're gonna do our best. You want to see how good Alistair Overeem is? Pull up Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar. This was back when they were doing a smell test back then for stuff.
We would struggle to make the pyramids today. And I know people love to say, oh, human beings could do it. Sure, we could do it. But you have to realize there's 2 million, I think it's 2,300,000.
The stones are huge.
In the Great Pyramid of Egypt. And some of them are cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. On the outside, everything's fucked up because it used to be covered in limestone. But people looted it and they broke off the limestone. They built cities with it and shit. It used to be flat and smooth to the point where it was probably polished and reflective. Like, they don't know exactly what it looked like, but they know that the precision inside, in some of the areas, like where you look at the stones, you can't even get a razor blade in between those rocks. And these are massive stones. And the amount of calculations that are involved and the amount of precision that has to be
The amount of people that fucking died.
This design where you're stacking stones onto, you can't have any errors when you get to the top. We would struggle to make the pyramids.
No, but you think about it, bro. Like, I would love to see them, but I wish I could see them when they were. If I can go back in time.
Yup.
But the amount of people that died making that shit.
I could play you every song.
It's insane.
Charts right now over 4 chords.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Do you want me to dare you?
Yeah. Get me a guitar.
Are you serious?
You name any song and I'll play it in the 4 chords. So these are the chords.
Let's go. Something passenger. That's your friend.
Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
But you can
name another
I'm
song.
walking
Let
away.
it be.
I'm walking away, Craig David.
Greg David.
I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away. Oh, to find a better day.
One last one. Let it be. Beatles.
When I find myself in times of trouble, brother man. Keep, I'm telling you, any song. I could play you every song.
Praying mantis is so fucking strong. They're so much stronger than you would imagine them being because they have these little stick arms.
Yeah, I watched one eat a hummingbird.
Oh, yeah. They eat all kinds of shit. They eat everything that they get a hold of. We're lucky they're little. What they can do to a bird...
No, seriously.
The lizard was the most impressive because the lizard thought it was going to eat him.
And the thing was totally immobilized.
Yeah, look. He thinks he's going to get him. And he's like, bitch, you ain't getting nothing.
But look how he holds his mouth open. And then he's like, oh, dude, I feel
the
so...
strength.
But this lizard, he gets away.
He gets away for a second. But this is what's
For
crazy.
A second?
Yeah. Look at... And then he starts
damn.
out his mouth. He just starts slowly
I know what he's
pulling
doing,
them apart.
Joe. I know what he's doing.
I love it. Look at him. He's like, fuck, what did you do to my face? Oh, Jesus. He's like in pain. He's shaking it off. And the praying mantis is like, bitch, I'm not done with you yet. Like, he's in agony and he's spazzing around. And the praying mantis just locks onto him again and slowly starts pulling him apart. And at the end, he's dead. Praying mantis is so... They were using 50 caliber.
They were big.
Yesterday. Yeah. I mean, what?
I don't know. Have you heard about the giant trees?
Yeah.
And like how Earth used to have like 50% more oxygen on it. So just imagine 50% more oxygen. How bigger shit would be, bro. Dogs, bugs, humans. So I do believe there was giants on this planet at one point.
I don't want to know.
What's going on over there?
It's the disintegration of the Sinaloa cartel. Back in 2019, the Los Chapitos, I can't remember his name, he was captured and the police units were forced to let the guy go.
Yeah, I remember that.
This time, they were able to get him to the airport fast enough. And he's already in Mexico City. We had a couple years back.
Look at this here.
Oh, yeah. One of the things...
This is a guy shooting at airplanes, which is fucking bonkers. I mean, what kind of airplanes are those?
Those are probably civilian.
And why is he doing this?
Debunked. That video is cropped. He was actually shooting at a police Black Hawk, the military Black Hawk.
I was like, oh my
Funker,
God.
shout out Funker.
Like, shit,
they actually had the full video on Funker 530, I believe.
Next month it was like 16 grand. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, 16 times 12, holy shit. And then the next month it was like 60 grand. And that's when I was like, uh-oh. And then like it just didn't stop. And then it's like, you know, it's 6 figures and brands start calling. It's just how much for you to talk about our brand on your channel. They weren't paying me for my creativity, they were paying me for my reach. But I did
When did the mob like officially get out of Vegas? Like what's
The mob is still in Vegas, just in
so?
short spurts. It's crazy. I was in New York last week, and I realized how much construction was going on. And I thought to myself, how much of that is the mob still getting? They had a tax for years, 2%. So if it's a $300 million job, do the math on that. You make a big chunk on that. You know, Trump didn't get rich because the construction business is huge. And you go to New York now, you know, I can't give you accurate numbers because I don't know what numbers are. But look what the average is for a square foot of concrete in New York, and look what the average is in Iowa.
I was reading something about that.
The square foot of concrete to build a building in New York,
It's insane.
the concrete is fucking insane
So
because
much money.
so many hands are getting fucking greased.
When did the mob like,
that makes sense.
officially get out of Vegas? Like what's
The mob is still in Vegas, just in
think so?
short spurts. It's crazy.
Above the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid are 5 further chambers. And these chambers are roofed and floored with granite beams that weigh about 70 tons each.
Oh my
And there are
God.
hundreds of them. And these 70-ton granite beams, which to put in context, a 70-ton beam is equivalent in weight to 35 large
Look how
SUVs.
precise
These
that is,
70-ton
though.
granite beams have been elevated to a height of more than 350 feet above the ground and carefully and precisely placed in position. It is very hard for archaeologists to explain how that was done using purely leverage and mechanical advantage. You can say, oh, perhaps they built a ramp and hauled the stones up the ramp. But then you have to confront basic laws of physics. You can't haul a
70
stone weighing
tons?
tens of tons up a slope that exceeds 10 degrees. Above the King's Chamber in...
He's also the one who told me about Bohemian Grove. So he went and snuck in to this place where like former presidents go. There's a photograph of Ronald Reagan with Herbert Walker Bush and a couple other people all standing around. And it's like these are the people that used to hang out at this place, and they would put on robes and they would worship an owl god and they would burn an effigy. And Alex snuck in and made video footage of this shit. And then no one's denying that it's real. This really did happen. So they're in with these bankers and former presidents, and they're dressed like druids, and some guy brings over something that it's an effigy that's supposed to be a body. It's also a bunch of sticks in a blanket, and then they drop it on the fire, and they're all worshiping an owl god. He's also the one who told me about Bohemian Grove. So he went and snuck in to this place where like former presidents go. There's a photograph of Ronald Reagan.
I was about to say, bro, what? What? I need to know about this.
Robes, and they would worship.
What? Blew my mind.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story.
The Bohemian Club, which meets in Bohemian Grove in California, is an exclusive gathering of mostly rich white men with plenty of power. The members of this not-so-secret cabal run around the California woods annually, mostly drinking and goofing off. Here's what really happens at Bohemian Grove. One of the hard and fast rules of Bohemian Grove is weaving spiders come not here, which essentially means that no matter what, real-world deals aren't to be made at camp. There's one notable exception, and that happened in 1942. And even that's a sort of. The Bohemian Club owns Bohemian Grove, and the super-secret camping trip that happens every year only goes on for a handful of days. For the rest of the year, any members of the club can use the grounds for whatever they want. And according to Skeptoid, Bohemian Club
I don't know, this seems like this is trying to make light of it.
September 1942. Teller would go on to be forever known as the father of the hydrogen bomb, and the groundwork for the Manhattan Project was laid there. But here's the thing. Teller was the only member of the Bohemian Club there, so it can't
Not gonna lie, I would hate to see a
nuke
go off.
Were they? In 1989, Spy
The
magazine
nukes of today make the nukes of back then
and described the annual
look like nothing.
lowbrow theatrical production known as the Low Jinks like this. The humor was not just lame, but circa 1950s college follies lame. Those who have gotten an inside peek into Bohemian Grove say the theatrical productions are a huge deal, and the one-time production Weiss was talking about was not only filled with the type of humor an 11-year-old might find hilarious, but it also cost a whopping $75,000. That's just one of the plays the members stage for each other. There's also a more serious production called The Hijinks, or more formally, the Grove Play. Over the years, they've staged performances of St. Patrick at Tara, recited hundreds of poems, tackled subjects like the triumph of Christianity over Druidic paganism, and Jack London even wrote an original piece for the Hijinks, which was never staged. Costs go up well over $100,000 per performance, and it must be nice to have that kind of cash. Every annual meeting in Bohemian Grove has since 1880 kicked off with a ceremony called the Cremation of Care. The ceremony starts with a parade of men dressed in red hooded robes, some carrying torches, and some carrying a wooden coffin with a wooden skeleton named Care. The procession winds through camp until they make their way to the side of a lake watched over by a massive cement owl. And as spectators gather, the men playing the priests extinguish the torches. They sing a song, and a priest tells members, "Shake off your sorrows with the city's dust, and scattered to the winds the cares of life." The funeral pyre is lit, the dull cares of the world are gone, and attendees head back to camp to embark on a week of merrymaking. In 1986, the club attempted to argue, quote, that male gender is a bona fide occupational qualification, much like Hooters argued that being a female with a certain body type was a job requirement for being a server there. The Bohemian Club was less successful than the restaurant chain when it came to their lawsuits, and they were forced to open hiring practices to female employees. Of course, there's a but. Jobs for women were restricted to the dining circle and valet parking, which former Summertime employee Sophie Weiner said were the lowest paying positions. She also added that there was a very literal line on the ground that marked the place where women needed to stop. And yes, this nonsense happened in the 21st century.
The line must be
They is biased.
This far, no farther.
Vanity Fair got a copy of the official itinerary for 2008's encampment, and there was plenty of musical entertainment scheduled. It turns out that singing around the campfire isn't just for the Boy Scouts. And that year, Sam Cooke's music was featured in a 9:15 p.m. campfire circle. It's not all fun and games, though. The lakeside talks are always a major part of the retreat, and they're usually heavy stuff. They're scheduled for every day at 12:30 p.m. And over the years, they've been given by people like Dwight D. Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, Werner von Braun, Herbert Hoover, and Neil Armstrong. At the same time, some of the most powerful men in the world are giving talks on some hugely heavy topics. There's something else going on, too. Constant drinking and what Vanity Fair calls, quote, profuse outdoor urination. They credit that to three things. Gin fizzes being poured at 7 a.m., so many enlarged prostates, and such majestic natural urinals. The Bohemian Club owns 2,700 acres of redwood forests, and only a small amount of the property has been turned into a retreat. Vanity Fair and journalist Alex Shomatov suggest there's been something else going on outside the carefully groomed camp for a long time, and that's illegal logging. Shomatov was approached by former Bohemian Club member John C. Hooper, who claimed that over the course of a few years, he saw towering redwoods marked for logging, stumps replacing trees, and hiking trails turned into logging roads. Club members responded that they were logging responsibly within the guidelines of the permits, and all the money made from selling the lumber was going back into forest management. But Hooper claims otherwise, and only a few years later, the club's 100-year logging permit had been revoked, forcing the club back to the drawing board to find more modest logging proposals.
Bro, it's just now, cops just tasered a teacher who, watching the video, they tasered him to death. It never ends, man. What we got?
Alright, this is where I gotta call it, bro. Oh. I gotta go get to my